Hello, it's me, and I've got another special emergency viewer question. One that just couldn't wait. Well, I tell you, just when I thought I'd seen it all, just when I thought I'd explored every aspect of a puzzle, someone presents a question that I'd not seen before, which makes it very challenging. Anyway, this is a 4x5x6, and a viewer had a question regarding this scenario. Now, the configuration is a little different. I think his had this one up here and the other one back here, but it really doesn't matter. It's really the same kind of thing. And what it is you have one of one color on this kind of outer central area here, and just opposite that, you have the opposite color on the other side over here. And that is a parity, and not something that we went over before. Now, the reason why we didn't encounter this kind of parity in the bricks before, we encountered it with this piece and this and this. We encountered it with this and back over here. The difference is that these are ones that have an up layer that can actually do 90-degree turns. If I put it over here and put this on the bottom, I can't do 90-degree turns with the up layer over here, which means it appears that I can't use the same strategy. Now, when I look at, say, the 3x4x5, we didn't go over that because this, on the area that shape shifts when it goes 90 degrees, there's only one layer over here. Same thing with this, the 3x4x6, just one layer over here, so you wouldn't get a situation like that. Even on this interesting gentleman and this handsome little guy, now made fully functional. But here, this is a unique situation. You actually have two layers, so there is the possibility of this parity. So where did this come from? How did this happen? It is a true parity because basically I can't solve it doing the 90-degree or the 180-degree turns that I did with that I do at the end of the brick stage. Can't do it. So I reduce this in a way that cannot be solved in the way that I have constrained my rules to. So that means it's true parity. The reason why this happened is because this piece here, this layer here, is bandaged to this layer most of the time. It's not bandaged when it's turning like this. But at some point, as I was reducing these edges, because remember, to get this puzzle, I get the centers first. I basically get the 4x4 centers. Then I reduce these edges over here. These are carried along with these two. Because if you notice, if I move it over here and reduce it there, these two are carried along over there. At some point, there is a point at which I had to move, say, a piece here to here. So I did a corner swap to do that. But when I did a corner swap, I dragged a piece of one color into an area where there's a piece of another color. Dragged it over here, and it got stuck in that position. Now, normally, if I keep doing this randomly, it should happen in a symmetric way, in which case I have one here, here, then I'll have another one out here and here, and I can do my solve. But it just so happened that it didn't get put in that way. So this is how that happened. It's the association of this layer and this layer that's the culprit. So how do I get out of it? Well, usually what I do in a situation like this is I combine various known algorithms that I have, maybe other strategies, do other setup moves, put it all together, pay very close attention to what I'm doing, cut out all the other extraneous moves and end up with one large sequence of instructions based on initial confirmation. Write that down and then throw that out as an algorithm. I'm not going to do it that way this time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick with known algorithms with some variations and tell you the strategy of what happens with this to get out of it. The first step basically is going to be to take the parity out of this layer, because as long as it's in this layer, I'm very restricted with the degree of freedom of freeing this layer up. But if I take this parity and move it out to here, it's a lot easier, because if I just had one here and here, well, I can move this center area, no matter how I move it, I can always isolate this layer. So I'm not going to get stuck or bandaged with any specific motion. So what this is going to do is it's going to move the parity to here, and it's going to move it out to here as well. Once I move it out to here, I'm going to do some strategies to do my get my corners back, but get it back in a way where I don't end up bandaging it to the wrong piece. So I'll just kind of demonstrate it. Now, as you recall, the brick parity algorithm that I used to get out of the one where you have it here or here, here or here, or here or here, is going to be a similar kind of a thing, but instead of this being my U move, my F move rather, this will be my F move over here, and this will be my U move over here. What this algorithm actually does is it takes these three pieces here and swaps it. This is going to stay the same. It's going to take this and it's going to put it down over here. These three. Then these three are going to be lifted up and go down over here. Then these three are going to come up and come up over here. So when I have this, I want to plan out what can I do to get all of these back as one color. How can I plan it out? Well, what you're going to want to do first, and again, if you're more of the kind where you want to know just the straight algorithm, you can pay close attention to every step that I'm going to do and just write it down. But I'm going to take this over here, I'm going to hold it over here to where I have one side here that's out. Now I have to do that because if I hold it here, if I move this around, this doesn't get touched by the algorithm, so I'm always going to have one in and a couple out. So I want to get all 4 of these out so that I can be gone with the parity. So I'm going to have to hold it here to keep this out, so to speak. And then I'm going to take this. Now understand, if I take this and move it here, then I'm going to have a yellow here that's going to be in. This green is going to be here, that's going to be in. This green is going to come here, that's going to be out. So I'm going to be left with 2 out, 2 in. That won't help. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this like so. Now if I do that, this will stay out. This yellow will come over here, so this will be out, yellow and green. This green will come here, so this will be out. And then this green will come here, and this will be out. So what that'll in essence do is take the parity out. So that's where it's going to be. But I won't be done. I'm going to have to deal with the parity here, and there's an easy way to do that. So the way to get out of that is hold it over here. Now this is going to be my R move, this is going to be my L move, and this is going to be my U move, and my F move is going to split right down the center here. That way I'm getting all the pieces, affecting all the pieces that I want to. So we're going to go with it over here. It doesn't matter what side it's on, just do it the same way. U, 2R, UI, 2L, U, 2R, UI, 2L. Then I'm going to go to F, which slices it through here, to F. Then I'm going to go to R just with this middle slice here. To R, and then once again to F. Now this is just a little variation of the usual brick parity algorithm. Then we go to L, U, to R, UI, to L, U, to R, UI. Once again we do our 2F, splitting down here, to F. Then do our 2R again, just this middle layer, 2R and 2F. Okay, so we've achieved the goal. Out, 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 out. Bunch of things that are out. So now I'm going to turn this back over here. Now what I have left to do is let's just get these out. I've got 2 symmetric areas that are out. So I'm just going to do the algorithm, the even layered algorithm. Let's go ahead and put this at opposite sides of this. So I'm going to keep this out over here actually, so don't turn that yet. Move it over here, and these guys are going to swap, these 2. Now when I do the first parity algorithm, using this as my F, it's just going to move the parity to here, so I got to do it again. So that's no problem. So it's going to be a 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2U, then 2F, 2R, 2U. I moved it over here as promised. 2U, 2R, now the 2F is over here, 2F, 2U, 2U, and 2F, 2R, 2U, and that parity is gone. So I might as well go back to where we started, and let's move this back out here. So I've now moved the parity here. So let's deal with these guys first. These centers, as you recall, was one of the first steps that we did in putting these in. Because I have complete isolation of these 4, and none of them are going to get bandaged, I'm going to put them in like I put in the centers of all big cubes, and it just happens to be set up perfectly fine. So I'm going to turn the puzzle here. Note that your particular color scheme may be different from mine. This came fully assembled. I'm going to move this yellow one up to here. So I'm going to split it down this side so that this yellow can come up to here. So I'm going to move it like this, which creates this 1x2 bar. Bat it out of the way so it's in a different plane. Double turn it over here. And I'm going to move it back with a UI, I guess, and then bring it back on this side here. And now we're going to put back this side that I just made. So I hope you could follow that, but here. So we've done 2 out of 3 goals. Move this back. So now this is done and this is done. We have but to deal with these. Now, I moved the parity out here, but understand what happened here. This is out. This does not match here. This does not match here. This does not match here, but this does. That in essence is the brick parity, where you have a discoordination between corners or centerpieces. In, but 3 that are out. So here's what has to happen. What I need to do is I need to basically do my edge reduction again. But I need to bear something in mind. I don't want to do an edge reduction where I end up bandaging it back again, where I end up putting a green one here. So here's the orange and yellow, and here's the red and green. Where's the other orange and yellow? The other orange and yellow is right over here. So what we're tempted to do is maybe move it over here and just turn it up here. Now, we got to be careful, because I can move this to here doing a corner swap, right? But here's the problem. If I do that, this is bandaged to it. I'm going to drag this right back to here and be no better than when I started. So I can't do that. That's what caused the problem to begin with. So let's move this back down. What I need to do is I need to do that corner swap while this is attached just above another yellow. Then the yellow will move to here and no problems. So what I'm going to do is, instead of moving this up from here that drags this with it, I'm going to move it back over here and then move it up away from the screen like that. So move it up like so. So now I have this in conjunction with this. And what I want to do is I want to move this into here. Now at this point, if I'm going to move things around, I'm going to do it by way of edge swaps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap these two to bring this to here and this to here. This will put this white, orange and yellow, whichever, to here, right next to where this is, to do a corner swap. So go ahead, once you do that, do an edge swap to bring this in. So moving with these two to our U, to our U, to our 2U, to our 2U, to our U, to our UI, to our, and that serves our purpose. Now this is fine. And now what I'm going to do is move this, and I'm going to redo my edge swap, my corner swap, by swapping this whole thing to here, so this is right next to here. So we've got 2R, U, 2R, this is my R here, UI, 2R, UI, DI, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R, move this back here, and you got it, and you don't have it bandaged, so we're good. Okay, now what about this? Well, I'm not going to worry about this yet, but I want to put the green and red one in. So where's the green and red? It's over here. I got to move this one up, but I can't just turn it here and move it up. It's bandaged. So here's what I'm going to do. As soon as I do this, what I want to do now is I want to take this and I want to move this to here, because now this is going to be with the proper corners. And once I do that, this won't be bandaged. I can move this here and it won't be bandaged. So I'm going to do another adjacent corner swap of these two. And that'll kind of get this out of the picture. So we have 2R, U, 2R, U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. Okay, so bang, there that is. We're good. So now I can move this into here and we're not bandaged up. And now I can take this one over here for these two and move it up like so. So now this is ready to do some swapping over here. Now the way that I'm going to do this now is I'm going to put this back over here, because these two, because there's some placement issues going on here. But in any case, this is like one that's already in. These guys need to be positioned appropriately. Well, here's the white one. Why don't we put this over here so that this white one can be here to swap with this over here? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to swap these edges over here. And we can do it from either place. Let's do it from here because there's a little bit of a placement parity here. So 2R, U, 2R, U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. Okay, as long as all these are fine, then you're not going to go wrong. Looking at it over here, this white will come in with this over here, this red and green will come here, but then these two are going to swap as well. rather these two are going to swap, so everything will be fine. So let's go ahead and put this white in with this over here. So we've got 2R U, 2R UI, 2R UI DI, 2R UI, 2R U, 2R, and we've got it. All our edges are fine. This puzzle has now been reset, so to speak. Now we can move this back. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start getting some things back. So here's the green and yellow. So I'll move this in over here to get the green and yellow back. Move this like so. Move this in here, so that's in over there. Now I want to move this to here so that I can get the blue back. So let's go ahead and swap these two. This will put the white where the white's supposed to be and the red where the red is supposed to be. So, and it'll also, I'm also going to want to get some placement parity out if I can. So actually, yeah, I'm going to keep this here. So now everything is in. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to swap these guys here. So this red can be here and this white can be with the whites over here. And I can get this placement parity out as well. So swap these two with an edge swap. So this is my R, 2R U, 2R U, 2R 2U, 2R 2U, 2R U, 2R UI, 2R. Okay. Now everything is where they need to be. This puzzle has been recalibrated, so just to get things back, I need to put the green one down over here. So I could bring this up, turn this across here, and I'll bring this down. So this is all fine over here. Okay, so we're going to just move this down to here where it goes. Actually, it goes over here because this is white, green, and red. White, green, and red. So 2R U, 2R UI, 2R. So that's where it needs to be here. Now this green, white, and red is going to have to go where this is, red, green, and blue, rather. Red, green, and blue. 2R U, 2R UI, 2R. And move it back. Okay. All right, so this is back here, and this is back here. So now what I'm going to do is just put these parity situations back. Now notice these corners have the familiar parity that we had last time. So I'm going to worry about that next, but we're going to go ahead and put this in. 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F, moves the parity to here. 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. All right, that brings the parity at right angles. So I'm just going to move these two. I know they don't exactly belong, but it's going to be the closest thing that we can come. So these two greens will come over to here, even though these aren't right, but we're going to deal with that in a second. 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U. Okay, so now what we've done is we've actually converted this into the usual parity that we know with these four guys over here. So what this parity algorithm is going to do is it's going to take this green and white, move this over here, this will move over here, and this will move up here. So this is the right-sided version of the familiar brick parity that we've seen. So that's going to be, you do a 2F, then you go U, 2R, UI, 2L. U, 2R, UI, 2L. Then do a 2F, and then slide in a 2R from this side, 2R, which gets these back, and then 2F, then finish it up with a 2L, U, 2R, UI, 2L, U, 2R, UI, do a 2F, and then get it back, and you got it. Bang. So that's the general strategy. Now, I welcome you to variate that. I have actually done this in a way where I didn't get the parity here, but because I don't memorize these things and I don't hold it in my head or write down or take notes like that, I just go through the strategy. In this particular case, I ended up just switching the parity ultimately from here to here. But what I did is I took it from here to here, this was easily fixed. This, I just had to position it to where I didn't bandage it with the wrong things. I ended up with parity over here, which is fixed by the usual method. So, a little convoluted, I know, but anyway, that's how I get out of it. If I find a more succinct way of doing it, I'll let you know, or if anyone else has any suggestions, but there you have it. Thanks for showing me this other fantastic and interesting curveball to this puzzle. Tom's puzzles always add new mysteries every time I pick them up. So, thanks for watching.